Bună ziua, bine ați venit! Începem imediat această sesiune, o să așteptăm să intre și mai mulți participanți. Între timp o să o vedem pe Lady Shelf Anchal, care așteaptă cu nerăbdare să înceapă să gătească împreună cu voi.
Hi. Okay. Hi, everyone. Namaste from India. So my name is Anchal. As Yuli introduced me, I'm from New Delhi. And I hope you guys are all doing safe and all doing well. Today, I'm going to be cooking something very authentic Indian meal for you. I hope some of you are going to be cooking along. So we're going to cook according to that pace. And otherwise, anyone else who doesn't want to cook along, you can probably just watch and learn the steps, how to cook, right? Okay. So should we start? Yuli, if you can just tell me, should we start?
We are going to wait 1 minute more, only 1 minute or maybe 2, and then we start, okay?
Perfect. How's it going in Romania?
We have already people from India, so they are also joining us, and they are saying hello. So here in Romania, it is sunny. And as we mentioned in the beginning, before we started to these conversations about the webinars, we are here really linked to Indian cuisine. So we are really glad to learn how to make these delicious dishes and how to use the spices as you're going to introduce us today. So we can talk a little bit before we really start how it's going to go. You are going to present us some spices and the importance of them. That is right?
Yes. So I want to first, we will do what we are cooking today is how we cook at home. So Indian food, how everyone has perceived Indian food to be not very healthy, because the Indian food you usually eat out in the restaurants is very creamy and lots of spices, So that's why everyone thinks that Indian food, they want to eat only on the day they want to indulge. But that's not how we cook and eat at home in India, because if I would eat like that, I would not be this size. So, for us, everyday cooking, it's all about keeping it healthy and balanced. With the spices also, we have lots of spices in our country, but not necessarily you have to add 20 spices in every dish. So it's all about, having the balance and keeping it really healthy and natural. So today we're going to first start with the introduction of spices, and then we'll start with the cooking process. For cooking, we're going to be doing 3 dishes. We're going to do a vegetable/chicken curry. So basically the base is the same. You can change the protein to vegetables or chicken or meat, anything else. Then we're going to do a flatbread called Roti, which is the easiest bread in India. We usually eat that every day. And the third is going to be a yogurt accompaniment, which we usually have, which is called Raita. So that is something to cool down, with all the spices when you have them.
Really, yeah. It already sounds delicious. So we can wait to start. Yeah. I think we are going to go. It's already 5 minutes after the actual time for the presentation. So if everybody is ready, we are going to start the event.
So should I start then?
Yes, just bine ați venit la prima sesiune din seria webinarelor live Descopera lumea de acasă, organizată de Eturia împreună cu partenerii locali din întreaga lume. Mă numesc Iulicari Saracen, sunt coordonatoarea grupurilor cu însoțitori la Eturia și vor fi alături de voi în aceste sesiuni interactive. Astăzi sunt alături de noi coordonatorii agenției, cofondatorii agenției Eturia, doamna Daniela Șah și domnul Sorin Stoica, care vor inaugura oficial aceste sesiune de webinare live. După intervenția lor, o să fie alături de noi Anchal, care am cunoscut acum câteva minute, și împreună cu ea vom găti imediat un curry cu pui și cu legume. Roti este acea lipe indiană recunoscută și foarte delicioasă și în ultimul rând o să gătim o salată de iaurt cu condimente cunoscută ca Raita. Această prezentare va fi prezentată de Anchal și ea o va face în limba engleză. În timpul acestei sesiuni puteți interacționa cu noi prin secțiunea Q&A, Questions and Answers, unde puteți adresa întrebările voastre atât în engleză cât și în limba română și ele vor fi răspunse de Anchal în timpul prezentării. Vă mulțumesc că sunteți alături de noi astăzi și vă dorim să vă bucurați de călătorii chiar și online. Și acum am să vă las cu doamna Daniela Șah. Doamna Daniela, sunteți pe mute? Se pune așa, perfect.
Bună ziua tuturor! Hello and namaste to Anchal and our partners from India. Vă mulțumim tuturor pentru că ați ales să călătoriți alături de noi, măcar virtual, în aceste zile în care ne întâlnim cu toții cu această situație fără precedent. Și ce metodă mai bună puteam găsi de a descoperi cultura unui popor decât făcând o incursiune în bucătăria acestui popor, și nu puteam începe mai bine decât cu bucătăria indiană. So thank you to the partners, thank you very much Chef Anchal for the participation. Vă mulțumim tuturor pentru că sunteți alături de noi astăzi și vă pregătim surprize interesante și pentru zilele următoare și pentru următoarele webinare. O zi frumoasă tuturor și să auzim numai de bine. Mulțumesc, Iulie.
Mulțumesc. Vă mulțumesc și acum o să vină și domnul Sorin Stoica alături de noi. Sunteți așa, perfect.
Bună ziua, mă bucur să fim în legătură, chiar dacă online, și vă mulțumesc tuturor clienților noștri care sunteți alături de noi și a prietenilor care sunteți alături de noi astăzi. Mă bucur că am reușit să vă trezim interesul cu această serie de webinarii. Suntem în acest moment cu primul dintre ele, așa cum vă spunea și Daniela și Iulie. Astăzi vom găti curry de pui sau de legume, funcție de orientarea noastră, cu carne sau fără carne. Și avem de asemenea și lipia indiană și un sos de iaurt. Vor continua în perioada următoare și alte webinarii interesante împreună cu partenerii noștri locali. Sperăm că astfel vom reuși, măcar într-o mică măsură, să mai stingem dorul de călătorii. Nu știu dumneavoastră cum vă este, dar nouă ne este extrem de greu în perioada asta să stăm închiși, mă rog, în casă sau măcar între granițele țării. Sperăm ca în curând să putem călători din nou împreună și să ne bucurăm de experiențe. Până atunci, cu siguranță vom încerca să vă aducem cât mai multe experiențe prin intermediul tehnologiei și sperăm să ne vedem cât mai curând într-un cadru live în care să ne putem măcar atinge coatele, dacă să nu dăm noroc. And thank you for our partners, and thank you, Anchal, for your availability and for your disponibility to cook for us and to learn, to teach us to cook some delicious Indian dishes. So enjoy, all of you, please enjoy the afternoon, and thanks again, all of you, and thanks to my colleagues from Eturia, Iulie, Hardik, Demi, and others that contribute to organize these webinars. Have a great day. Yuri?
Mulțumesc! Mulțumesc foarte mult! Acum o să continuăm cu Lady Anchal. Anchal, we are just waiting for know more about Indian cuisine, so we are going to let you start. Thank you very much.
Hey, hi, can you guys hear me? Perfect. Okay, so as I was telling before, that today we are going to be cooking something really authentic Indian meal. So in India, we cook fresh food every day for every meal, and we have lots of spices, but we don't use too many spices in all our meals because it is just about getting the flavors balanced right. So I will just take you guys through first with the spices we have. These are the basic spices which we use more often in our cooking. So I'm just going to show them to you now. So this is my spice box. This is something most of us in India have at home to keep our spices because it just comes in handy to pick up things and put while you're cooking rather than every time you have to open and close the jars. So this is red chili powder. So this is the hot one. It's so in India we actually grow different chilies in different parts. The ones which grow up in the north, if you've heard about Kashmir. So Kashmiri chilies are not very hot, but they are more bright in color. So this is actually Kashmiri chili. Then we have cumin seeds. So cumin actually gives you a nice nutty flavor to your food. Then this is turmeric powder. So turmeric is actually a root. It gives a beautiful yellow color. It's very prominent in most of the Indian dishes. Also, it is great anti-inflammatory and antibiotic. So like now, especially these days with the COVID situation all around, this is really good to increase your immunity. So that's why more of turmeric is better for you. Also, we don't put any artificial colors in our food. So that is why turmeric is used more in our cooking. Then the light green one you see, this is coriander powder. So this is the coriander seeds which we make into a powder. Okay. We have garam masala. So garam actually literally means hot. Masala means spices. So this is actually a hot mix of spices. This is something which you add to get that smoky flavor into your food. Okay. And this one's really interesting. This is not the most popular one, but this is something most of us in India use a lot. This is actually dry mango powder. So if you all see, it looks really light in color. And it is not sweet like a mango. This is more of that sour flavor, this is to give that tangy flavor. So this is made out of the raw mango, the green mango. What we do, we peel it and slice it off, and then we sun dry them like these. So this is a sun dried, I've made at home, and then we just make it into a powder. So this ways you get that nice tangy flavor into your food. As I told you before, we don't like to put any artificial flavors in our food. So vinegar is not something which is traditional to add in our food. So mango is to get that nice sour acidity to our food. Then we have dry red chilies. So these are actually the spicy hot ones. These come from Rajasthan. So Rajasthan is on the western belt of our country. The chilies which grow there, they are much more hotter than the ones which grow up in the north. So if you want your food to be more hot, we use the Rajasthani chilies. If you want your food to be less hot, but still get that nice red color, we use the Kashmiri chili. So that is the difference. Okay. And Yuli, you can let me know in between if you have any questions. If I'm going fast or slow or anyone's cooking along, so you can please always let me know. Yeah.
Perfect. Yes, I will.
Okay. So these are the basic spices we actually use more often in our cooking. So it is more important to understand the spices and why are we using them rather than just following a recipe and measuring and adding. So cumin gives nutty flavor, turmeric is for the natural color, coriander gives a herby base to our food, like you get that nice herby flavor. Then we have you can replace it with paprika, Kashmiri chili, so it gives nice color, a little smokiness but not too hot. Mango to give that acidity or sour flavor, garam masala for smoky flavor, and of course if you want more hot then we use the whole red chilies. Okay, then we have two more. So this is actually cumin powder. So if you notice, our cumin powder is much darker in color than the regular cumin powder if you usually buy in the supermarket. Because what we do, we first dry roast our cumin seeds and then we make it into a powder. So cumin powder in India is always darker because we do it ourselves at home. And because so what you do is just dry roast the seeds in a pan and then make it into a powder. So this gives an extra nutty flavor to our food. Okay. Then this one's the most interesting. This one is really, we call it actually the black salt, but if you guys can see, it is quite light pale pink in color. But the funny part is, why is it called the black salt if it's pink in color? A lot of people ask me that, why is it called the black salt? Because this is actually the Himalayan salt. Now from the Himalayas, we get them as black rocks. Now what happens, this particular rock has a sulfur property to it. So when you make it into a powder, the black turns into dark gray, light gray, and then eventually turns to be pink because of the sulfur in it. So it's the oxidization which happens. Now, if you ever get to try the real Himalayan black salt or pink salt, it would actually taste like eggs because of the sulfur. So a lot of people, when they try it for the first time, they don't believe that it actually a salt can taste like eggs. So it's like having a salted egg. So this is something which has a lot of natural minerals. We get it directly from the mountains and we make it into a powder. So this is something we usually put it on cold stuff. We don't cook with it. Not that you want to stop using your white salt and use this, but this is something which you add to most of your cold stuff like salads or fruits. Like I would never have an apple or an orange without having a little bit of black salt on it, like that. Okay, so now we are going to start with the first recipe. Okay, Yuli, any questions till now or should we start? Okay.
Now we don't have any questions now, so we can make a little bit of a conclusion, a resume about the spices. So we can have that as you mentioned. So what were these spices that you mentioned?
The cumin seeds.
Okay.
Coriander powder.
Okay.
Dry red chilies. Garam masala. Turmeric. And then we have dry mango powder. And we had, what else did I forget? And we had the red chili powder.
Okay, so we are, after this presentation, we are going to receive from you a little bit of information of it, and we are going to send to our clients the information also in Romania, so they can have about these spices that you are mentioning and what are the benefits of it. So thank you very much. We are going to send them at the end of the presentation, so we can continue.
Okay, so first what we're going to do is we're going to start with the curry paste, which we are going to be using for our vegetable/chicken curry. So it's actually the same curry paste. It's a very versatile recipe. The same curry paste you can use to make a veg curry, fish curry, meat curry, whatever you want. That's the whole idea. Okay, so what I'm going to do is first I'm going to take some. So today I will be doing a vegetable curry. And I have these vegetables to cook. So I have some French beans, some cauliflower, carrot, and peas, which I'm going to use to make my vegetable curry.
Sorry, Anchal, I just want to ask the clients, doresc să vă reamintesc că dacă aveți orice întrebare legat de procesul de gătit, despre ce ne prezintă Anchal chiar în acest moment, puteți să o transmiteți prin chat, acea secțiune de Q&A și acolo o să putem adresa întrebarea direct lui Anchal și ea poate răspunde chiar acum la orice întrebare aveți legat de mâncare și de ce prezintă ea. Vă mulțumesc! You can continue, Anchal. Thank you very much.
Okay. So one more thing I want to show is this is ghee. Ghee is clarified white butter. So this is actually our Indian butter. This we make at home. This is also very healthy. A lot of people have started using ghee around the world because ghee actually has a lot of better nutrition than butter because it's clarified white butter. Though it is more fat also. So like the older generation used to cook everything in ghee. I have my grandmom staying with me. She still makes everything only in ghee. She would never have oil. But it's more calories also. So the new generation, what we do, we make some things in ghee and some in oil to balance out, that you don't want to consume too many calories. Okay, so you have the option of cooking this in ghee or you can use regular oil, whatever back you use at home, or you can even use butter. It's totally up to you guys. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, to make the curry, we need something, a deep dish, because it's going to have a little gravy like a sauce. So that is why it's better to have a little deep dish like that. So first, we are going to add oil or ghee, whatever you want. So a good 1 tablespoon. Now the trick of using the spices in India. You should always put whole spices with your oil. So the steps we follow in Indian cooking: first oil, followed by any whole spices. So for example, in this one, I'm going to put some seeds of cumin. They should go into the pan first, because what happens, they sizzle and release the flavor into the oil. Then you should add your onion or garlic or anything else. Always follow that sequence. So what I'm going to do is, so see, this is how my box comes in handy. So just take 1 spoon of seeds and add. Now we wait for them to sizzle and crackle. So this is a very important step. Whole spices in the beginning. Once they cook, then we put the powders. Because if you put the powders in the beginning, they'll get burnt. And if you put the whole spices later, they won't take out that much flavor. So that is why whole Indian cooking, it's always more about the spices than anything, right? So we wait. So now if you guys can see, it has started to sizzle. You will see, some of them will pop up as well. So once that happens, I have an onion which I have chopped. So in India, we always use the red onions because we actually have only the red onions. Okay. Now the important part is to caramelize the onions. Now you want the onions to get nice and brown, because this is where the most important part is, that if you don't caramelize your onion, you won't get a very good curry taste.
Anchal?
Yes.
Sorry, we had a small technical issue, and there are people having some problems to the connection. So we can stop a little bit and just wait for a few of them to join us. It's okay for you?
Yeah.
Perfect.
I'll just stop the heat then, because I don't want the onions to burn, right?
Yes, we are waiting 2 minutes and just verifying the link and send them again to join us, okay? Sure. O să așteptăm 2 minute, avem o mică problemă cu conexiunea și așteptăm câteva persoane care încearcă să se conecteze cu noi și nu au avut ocazia până acum, și o să-i ajutăm imediat. În 2 minute o să revenim în continuare cu Anchal. Mulțumesc! Profit de ocazia să vă întreb acum că așteptam, să vă întreb dacă este cineva care gătește cu noi, puteți să ne menționați aici în secțiunea Questions and Answers, să ne spuneți dacă doriți să mergem mai lent sau dacă este totul ok. Anchal?
Yes.
There is a question here. There is someone asking if you are going to make the chicken curry afterwards. We are going to start now with the vegetables, and then you're going to start with the chicken.
No, so we are doing the chicken curry only first. It's just that instead of chicken, I am doing a vegetable curry. But the point where I add the vegetables, whoever is doing chicken curry can put the chicken.
Okay, so you are mentioning we are doing today, you are doing the vegetable one, but it's the same process as the chicken one. So instead of putting the vegetables, they can put the chicken. Okay?
Yes. Yes.
Perfect. So we have also one person that is saying that she's cooking with us, and
Yes.
she's going to keep up with you. That's why she needed to know if you are doing with the chicken or with the vegetable.
Sure, sure. So
Perfect.
in the meanwhile, whoever is waiting, you can chop your chicken into small pieces. So then I've already chopped my vegetable. Whoever is doing a vegetable curry can chop their vegetables.
Perfect.
So the quantity I am using, the quantity I am cooking is for 2 people. So if you want to cook for a bigger quantity, you can double up the recipe as well. So I've used 1 onion and I'm going to be using 1 tomato.
Okay. So we are now starting to have people connecting. So and they are entering the live event. So I will just explain them again in Romanian, and then we continue. It's okay?
Yeah.
Am început să gătim această curry cu legume. Anchal va face cu noi astăzi versiunea cu legume, însă ea ne-a explicat că pentru cei care doresc să facă acea versiune cu pui, pot să facă în aceeași ordine și în loc să pună legume cum va pune ea, puteți pune puiul și o să ne explice în paralel pentru cei care fac cu pui cum trebuie să procedeze. So Anchal explained them. Also, we are going to ask you to make reference also to the chicken part for those who are cooking with chicken. It's okay?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. Should we start?
Yes, please.
Okay. So we've not done much till now. What we've done is just take a pan. So ideally for cooking a curry, you should always take a little deeper pan because you're going to have a sauce. So I've taken oil first into the pan, followed by cumin seeds. So why we start with cumin seeds? Because it's always, we begin with whole spices. Once the cumin starts crackling, I have chopped an onion and I've added, and then you just have to cook. Now this is an important step because you want your onions to get a little brown. Now in India, we actually use the red onions because we only have red onions in India. But if you're using a white onion, that's fine. You can use a white or a yellow onion. Just cook them a little longer because you want them to get nice brown, because the charness will actually give the flavor and the color to your curry. So this is the most important step in making the curry. Okay. So till the time this is getting a little more dark, you can even cover it up because it cooks faster. Just keep an eye on it, like after every 30 seconds or so, just mix it up because you don't want to burn your onions. In the meanwhile, what we'll do is we are gonna take some ginger and garlic fresh. So that is about ½ inch of ginger, which I've just roughly chopped. So now either you get ginger and garlic paste available in the market. You can even use that, which is a store-bought one. Or today we are going to be using the fresh one. So what I'm doing is I'm going to take a mortar and a pestle and crush it into a fresh paste. If you don't have a mortar and a pestle, you can even take a small grater and grate it. It's just that you want or you can chop it really finely, like mince it. So that is about 2 garlic cloves and ½ a piece of ginger. If you like spicy, if you have fresh red chili or green chili, you can add that also. If you don't like it spicy, minus the chili, guys. Okay, now I'm just gonna be pounding it. So this is how we used to traditionally do stuff when we never had the electronic gadgets. So Yuli, if there's any question I can take now till the time I'm pounding this. You're on mute.
Yes, they are mentioning they are cooking with you. We can ask them. Dacă aveți întrebări, puteți să ne le adresați. Anchal le va răspunde cu mare drag. Dacă întâmpinați orice sau aveți orice întrebare în perioada aceasta când gătiți împreună cu ea.
Okay, so if you see, so I don't want to make it like a complete paste. I like this little chunky kind of a paste. Like if you want, you can make it little more finer, but I actually like this consistency. Yeah? Now can you see? Perfect. So now my onions have become brown. Now if you see my onions, I've got this nice brown color. Now is when we add our ginger and garlic. All the people who are cooking along, in the meanwhile, our onion and ginger and garlic are cooking. You guys can either take one tomato. So a curry paste will always have equal amount of onion and tomato. Always remember that. So we are cooking for 2 people, like we are doing a portion size for 2 people. So that is 1 onion and 1 tomato. It's equal quantity. We begin with the onions, and once the onions are cooked, we will add the tomato. Now tomato, either you can again chop it really finely or you can blend it. So I have blended 1 tomato. So I'm going to be using this. It totally depends on you. You can, if you don't have a blender, you can even chop it, but just chop it a little finer. Now sometimes if you are in a hurry, what you can do is take a blender, 1 onion, 1 tomato, a little bit of garlic, ginger, chili, blend everything up and then start cooking. So this is the curry paste which we use very often in Indian cooking. The same curry paste, so like I said, you can do a chicken curry or a vegetable curry. You can do a fish curry, you can do a lamb curry with the same curry paste. You can even add boiled kidney beans. It's a very popular dish in India called rajma. So we can make that with the same curry paste. You can put boiled chickpeas and make chickpeas with the same curry paste. So this is a very versatile recipe of the curry paste. Okay. So now my onions have got nice brown. Now I'm adding my tomato. So for all the people who are cooking along, I'm sure your kitchens would be smelling really good by now. And your neighbors would know that you're cooking Indian food today. So till the time you see this sizzling, now we need to just cook it off till all the water of the tomato goes. Basically, you want the rawness of the tomato to go away. So once it dries out, this is what we wanted, like the curry paste consistency. And then we put the powders. So as I told you, it is important to follow this sequence. Oil first, followed by any whole spices, like if you're putting a whole chili, or you're putting cumin seeds, or you're putting some cardamom seeds, or any whole spices, they should go first into the oil to crackle, followed by any your onion and tomato or anything else, and then should be your powders always. The reason we follow this sequence is to get all the flavors and not to burn our spices. Okay. So now, till the time there is a lot of moisture from the tomato, you can even cook it on a little high heat. But once it gets more dry, you have to make sure that don't cook it on a very high heat. Okay? Okay, Yuli, any questions till now? Is everyone able to follow?
I have no questions until now.
Okay, perfect. I hope you are understanding the whole process. You're going to be cooking this later. Right?
Yes, I will. I'm just taking some notes to make sure that I will have a good dish. and then I will also send you my picture for you to tell me if it looks okay at least.
Yes, absolutely great. Okay, so now what we want is, as I was telling before, you have to make sure that you brown your curry paste. You know, like browning is the most important step because this is how you caramelize the onion and tomato. Now the reason why we began with the onion and we put the tomato later, if you put it together, the acidity of the tomatoes doesn't let the onions to get brown too quickly. It will take you longer if you put them together. So if you do it either way, then it is better. Okay? So now I'm just going to show it to you. So you see, it has started to get a very nice color, like a nice brown. Sometimes even burning it up a little bit is good because if you get a little charred kind, you know, from the sides of your pan, it actually gives you a better flavor. So that's something really funny. The more you roast, the darker it gets, the better the flavor. So once I accidentally burnt my curry paste, and that's the best chicken curry I ever made in my life, you know, because it gives so much of a better flavor. So sometimes burning things are good, guys. You can always, don't worry about it. Yeah. But don't tell anyone that I taught you that you have to burn things in the kitchen. Okay. Okay, so now my curry paste, once it's completely dry, now we will add the powdered spices, and then that is our curry paste which usually people buy, in the jars in the supermarket, like you buy the curry paste in the jar. So rather than buying the next time, now you can actually make it and keep and cool it down, put it in a jar, and then you can store it in the fridge as well. Okay, so now once your curry paste starts to look like this nice dark color, now we will add our powders. So for the powdered spices, we're going to first put turmeric. So before adding your powders, always make sure that you lower down the heat because you don't want to burn your spices. Then we are going to put some coriander powder, 1 teaspoon. So turmeric was half a teaspoon, coriander is 1 teaspoon. Add just a little bit of chili powder or paprika, depends on how spicy you want it. If you want to make it more spicy, you can add more. We're going to put some salt. And remember the cumin powder I told you guys before? This is the roasted cumin powder. So again, half a teaspoon of that. So now is the time when you see your paste is completely dry. If you feel it is sticking a lot to your pan or it's getting burnt, you can always splash a little bit of water. So what happens when you buy the jar? It has a lot of oil floating on the jar. Like usually when you buy a store-bought jar with the curry paste, there's so much of oil because you want to they put that extra oil to preserve the whole curry paste. But if you make fresh at home, I've just used 1 teaspoon of oil. I don't like to cook with a lot of oil. This is how in India most of us cook at home. It's more about keeping it healthy. Okay. So now this one, what my mom used to do, like every Sunday, she used to make this in a big batch and store it and keep it throughout and use it throughout the week. So you can also make the curry paste in a big batch and then make different curries out of the same. Okay. So now is the time. Whoever is doing a vegetable curry can put the vegetables in. Whoever is doing chicken curry can put the chicken in. Okay. Okay. So now I'm adding. So for the vegetables, I have some beans, some cauliflower, carrot, and peas. Whatever veggies you have, whatever shape or size you want to chop, just chop them. Okay. So now you just mix up everything. Now is the secret ingredient, how it differentiates home food than the restaurant food. Now in the restaurants, what they do, they always cook with a lot of oil and they also put a lot of cream in their food. At home, for us, it's always about keeping it healthy. So I actually don't use any cream when I cook at home. I would instead put some yogurt. So yogurt gives a nice creaminess, but it's not with a lot of fat. Okay, so now is the point where we are going to add some yogurt. So 1 spoonful of yogurt I'm adding. So you mix it up. So if you notice, we have not added any artificial color or flavor, but still you get a nice, really nice color of the curry. So once you just mix in all the yogurt, sometimes it can happen when you add the yogurt, it will curdle up. Don't worry, when you cook it, it will be fine. So now at home, for us, our curries are always much more thinner than the ones you eat in the restaurants because you want that gravy to dip your bread in it or have it with rice. Now I'm going to add water, so about half a cup of water. So this is something, you know, you'll see, if you see the consistency, it's going to make that nice sauce. You can add a little more water because anyways, it is going to cook the vegetables and reduce it down.
Anchal,
yes.
for the chicken, there is with the same kind of amount of water. Is okay, yes. Or we need to put more? It's okay with the same.
You can put a little more for chicken. Yeah.
A little bit more of water.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter. See, anyways, we put more water because it again depends on how thin or thick you want your sauce. So you would put enough water for your vegetables or chicken to get cooked. And after cooking also, you want some of that liquid still because usually we like to dip our bread in it and have or mix it with rice. So you don't want like a dry chicken or a dry vegetable. We want like gravy.
If you want it juicy, you put a little bit more of water. If you like it more dry, you put less water. Yes?
Yes.
Perfect.
And after you mix it up, now we just cover it up. Keep it on a low heat. And now you will have to cook it for about 10 to 15 minutes. Basically, you would have to check when your chicken or your vegetables are nicely cooked. The only one spice which we've not added till now is the Garam Masala. Now, particularly, I don't like to put the Garam Masala in the beginning with the other spices because I love that smoky flavor of the Garam Masala. So I usually, once my chicken or vegetables are more cooked, then you add the Garam Masala because it gives you a more stronger flavor of that smokiness, which is really lovely. So also what I would recommend is before you put your chicken or before you put your Garam Masala, please always taste because then you will know what exactly you're making and how is it going. Even like taste it before you add your Garam Masala and after because you would know actually what Garam Masala does to your dish. So it's more important to understand the spices than just, you know, follow the recipe. Okay?
Perfect.
So my
question. So we need to taste each spice before putting it in the food to understand what is going to modify in our food when we use them. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So now my vegetable curry is now. So now another important thing. Don't cook on a very high heat. Always cook on a low heat because on a low heat it always cooks much nicer and it always tastes better. On a very high heat you can burn things up and always leave a little burnt aftertaste. So now when you simmer it, when you broil your chicken, please do it on a low heat. Okay. Probably the first boil you can keep it on a medium to high heat. Once the first boil comes, then just turn it to a low heat and cover it up and let it cook. Okay. So now what we can do is till the time this is going to get cooked, which will take, so vegetables are really small, they should be cooked in 10 minutes. But if you're doing a chicken, if you're doing a boneless chicken, that would also take 10 to 12 minutes. If you're doing chicken with the bones, it might take a little longer, but chicken with the bones always tastes better in the curry. Like if I do a chicken curry, I always at home, we cook it with the bones because, you know, when you cook the chicken on the bone, and you know, it creates its own stock. So it's much more flavorful than when you do it without the bones. So it might just take 5 minutes extra, but it'll be more flavorful for everyone who's using the chicken with the bones. Okay. So now we are gonna do is we are gonna get on to making the dough for the bread. So the bread we are doing today is roti, or it's also called chapati, at home. It is also known as fulkar a lot of places. It's the same bread. It is actually the bread which most of us eat at home every day for every meal. It is the easiest and the healthiest bread in the world. It can't be simpler than that. We actually just use 2 ingredients to make it. There's whole wheat flour and water. That's it. You don't need any yeast or salt or oil or baking powder or anything to make this bread. Also for making, it just takes you 5 minutes to make it because you just make the dough and directly you can start making the bread. You don't need to rest it as such or wait or do anything with it. So that is why it is the healthiest and the easiest bread in the world. Now, in case you guys don't have whole wheat flour, you can go ahead and use the regular all-purpose flour as well. But it's just that in India, we prefer the whole wheat flour because it's healthier. Okay. So I'll just keep this here.
So now if we are doing the curry, we still leave it on the fire and low heat.
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Okay. So now everyone can leave their curries on the side on the low heat, and now we need to make the dough. So you can just take any bowl because we're going to be kneading the dough. So about half a cup of the flour. So this is whole wheat flour. So there's no science or anything too difficult about this. You can't really measure how much water would be put because it is always depending on what kind of flour you're using, what is the weather where you're making the dough, the temperature of your hands. So what we do is we don't put all the water together. What we do is we start with a little bit of water, put it in the center.
The water, Anchal, the water has to be cold, hot.
Room temperature, anything is fine. Doesn't matter at all.
Room temperature.
Yeah, you can just use tap water as well.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so what you do is initially start mixing with your fingers. Add a little bit more. So please don't add a lot of water together because if it's too sticky, then you'll have to add more flour and then you'll keep on playing that game of more water and more flour again and again. So always add water little by little. So what you do is initially just, keep moving with the bowl. So it is gonna come together into one big ball and your bowl will get clean. So if you see, my bowl is clean and it's come together. Now if you want, you can take it out on the bench and work on it. So it should not be too sticky. If it's too sticky, just put a little bit of flour and then knead it. So it's the same like you make your pasta or a pizza dough. Now what is more important that you have to keep on kneading it because that's how you activate the gluten part out of it. So either you can use your palm, to spread it and fold it, or you can use the back of your hand like your knuckles. So we are making bread just for 2 people or 1 people. We do this every day. Like I have a big family. I do it for 12 people every day. So I make this much dough every night. And as I told you, it can't be healthier than this because it's actually just flour and water. So this is something you can give it to your kids. It is much better to make your own bread than have the store-bought one. Okay, so if you see, it's nice and elastic. It's not very sticky and it's not too hard as well. It's just like a Play-Doh. So you can even make Play-Doh at home for kids like this, So they love to play with it. Okay, so my dough is done. So see, that is the consistency. Okay, so just keep it on the side. Till the time you're making the bread, you can even cover it up because otherwise it dries out from the top.
Anchal, we have a question. How does it remove gluten part from the loaf?
Sorry, how does it?
How does it remove gluten part from the loaf.
No, it doesn't remove the gluten part. This bread is not without gluten. It is with gluten. Wheat flour has gluten, so this doesn't take off the gluten. It just when you keep on kneading, it activates the gluten part actually.
Okay, it activates the gluten part. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'll show you my curry. It's nicely simmering, bubbling away. So the most important thing is you should always taste, everyone. Mine tastes good. Everyone else who's cooking? Okay. So now, before tasting and now, I'm going to add my garam masala. So half a teaspoon of garam masala to get that nice smoky flavor. So if you see, I still have that nice sauce, like that gravy, which is what I want. I don't want to dry it out. You can cover it up again. For the people who are cooking chicken, it would take a little longer, but you can still always try. Okay. Any questions till now, Yuli?
No, only this one, but if you have any question, please come to us because we are here to answer. Dacă aveți întrebări, dacă este ceva neclar, dacă trebuie să ne întoarcem la un pas anterior, vă rog să ne transmiteți întrebările, pentru că le vom răspunde chiar acum.
Okay. So now till the time our curry is being cooked, we can quickly make that raita and then we'll just come back to our bread. Bread we'll do it in the end because we always make roti fresh and eat it really hot with our food. So we make the curries or lentils or vegetables before, and just before, while we sit down to eat our lunch or dinner, that is the time we only make our bread. So you can make this, yeah.
We have one person saying that the flour and the composition is sticking on her hands.
So then they put too much of water, then add more flour to it.
Okay, so I will write it to add more flour. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, until it's not sticky.
Yes.
Perfect. And we have another question, which is we should cover the pan always at the time of leaving curry on the gas?
Yes, it is that covering it up will make it cook faster. That's fine.
Okay.
You can cook it on open also, but it is that if you cover it, it will cook faster.
Okay, perfect. So until now is the questions I'm receiving. So any question I have, I will pop it up to you, and then we give them the answer. Okay, thank you. Can continue.
So what we'll do is, in the meanwhile, we will now, till the time our curry is being cooked, we will get on to making the raita. So raita is actually a dish. I mean, you can't put it in the category of a salad. It's more like an accompaniment, which we usually eat along. So usually we have raita with biryani or with our meal, because yogurt kind of cools down the spices which we have. So that is the reason. So this is really simple. Now raita, it's basically with whipped yogurt, and we put some spices in it. Now you can put different vegetables into your raita. You can make it with cucumber, you can make it with mint, you can make it with onion, you can do tomato, you can do actually a combination of them. You can do onion, tomato. Sometimes some people also put pineapples to just get a little sweetness. So you can actually play around and do different flavors. So today I'll be doing some cucumber, and I have some fresh coriander from my terrace garden, which I'm going to add. Okay. So Yuli, any question or should we start?
they are thanking us for the answers that we have given. So that is what I am receiving now.
Okay, perfect. So what I'm going to do is half a cup of yogurt. Okay. So that is regular natural yogurt, no flavor. So this is my homemade yogurt. In India, most of us, we make our own yogurt at home because yogurt is something which we eat a lot. Just like that, you can make a lassi out of it, you can make a raita, you can put it in your curries. So it's much more healthier to have yogurt than add cream. So now what you have to do is you have to whip it really well. There has to be no lumps and you have to get a nice consistency. If it is too thick, you can put a little bit of water or milk as well. So like I would probably put a little bit of water. So it has to get into a nice and a smooth consistency. Okay, so now at this point, we are going to put our seasoning. So yogurt is, raita is something which is uncooked, it's cold. And when I was telling you about black salt, this is what I was telling you, that black salt is something we use to put it in all our cold stuff. So what I do is, I actually put half and half of white salt and black salt. But for the people who've never tried black salt before, if you want, because please make sure you taste it well, because sometimes some people don't like that egginess, you know. So you can just do it with the white salt as well. So I'm just putting like a pinch of black salt and same way a pinch of white salt. Mix it up. A quarter of a teaspoon of cumin powder. Now if you want a little bit of this chili spicy, you can put like a little bit, like I'm just putting like a very small pinch of chili. Depends on, if you don't want to make it spicy, you can, chili, you cannot put the chili as well. So that's it. That's really simple. I have whipped up the yogurt with salt, black salt, cumin powder, and a small pinch of chili. Sometimes also, okay, sometimes your yogurt can be a little more sour depending on how old is it. So if you feel your yogurt has a little bit too much of a sourness, you can also put a pinch of sugar. Sugar kind of gives a nice balance. Okay. Now what I've done is I have taken a little bit of cucumber and I've chopped it small pieces. I'm gonna put it to my yogurt. And that is some fresh coriander, which also I'm gonna add. So that is our cucumber and coriander raita ready. That's how simple it is, you know. It's something you can, any small kid can also make this. So mint also tastes really good in this. So you can add mint as well. So that's how simple it is. So I'll just keep it on the side. So also if you make your raita beforehand, you can put it in the fridge because raita always tastes good, yogurt, when it's cold. So before serving, then you can take it out from the fridge.
There is any vegetable that you, for the salad, for the raita, there is something you recommend not to mix with the yogurt, something that you not, because we can get really, we want the creative, exactly. So if there is something that you would recommend not to do with the raita.
So any vegetable, basically you can add any vegetable which is like a salad vegetable, which has a crunch to it. Like don't put like a raw eggplant or anything. Like if you want to put eggplant, cook your eggplant and then add. So usually in the raita we add more of the salad veggies like your cucumber and tomato and onion. You can put, if you want some pomegranate, you can add pomegranate seeds because that sweetness gives a nice balance. So this is usually we add in the raita is more of the crunchy vegetables.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so that is done. Now my curry is also looking almost done. I will just show it to you guys. So that is my curry is done. Okay. Now what we do is we love fresh coriander. We always sprinkle coriander on top of everything we make. Now that is also something which I have had few guests who said that they find coriander tasting like soap. So if you don't like coriander, you can minus the coriander, but we love coriander in India. So that is a part of almost every dish in India. So my curry is done. I'll just keep it on the side. Okay. Now let's start to clean because now we will make our bread. So now for making the bread, we need any flat pan like this. Either you can take a flat pan or you can even take a frying pan. It just needs to have a flat base. That is more important. Okay, so what we're going to do is just switch on the heat for the pan till the time we are going to roll out some roti. So this is the roti dough which we made, which was nothing complicated, just whole wheat flour and water. That's it. You make the dough like this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit, like a small portion, like even smaller than an egg. Okay, make it into a ball. I will show it to you there. Make it into a ball. Press it a little bit. Okay. Now either you put flour on the bench or what you do is you just take dry flour.
Anchal,
yeah.
If they don't have coriander and they can use whatever they have similar to it to be fresh, or you recommend not to use anything if they don't use
anything. To be honest, in Indian cooking, we don't use basil or oregano and stuff. So if someone is going to add that, it's going to give a different flavor. So I would rather say don't add rather than adding any other herb.
Okay.
Okay. So you coat your dough and now you're going to roll it out. So of course we try and do a proper perfect round, but if you can't do a round, it's fine. Make sure you do not make any folds or holes in it. If it's sticking, you just dip it into the flour again. So it's more important not to have folds or holes in it, as I told you. So see, that's a perfect round roti. It has to be nice and thin like that. That's the most important thing. Now, that's our pan. So you just dust off the excess flour because it gets burnt otherwise. Okay. Now, on your pan, neither you use any oil to make the dough, neither nor you're going to put any oil on the pan. That's why it's the healthiest bread in the world. So once your pan gets a little hot, what we are going to do is we are going to put the roti directly on the pan. So you have to make sure the pan is nice and hot. So directly on the pan.
Anchal,
yes.
Here in Romania, we can find more, for example, parsley or dill, like some spices that we can find. So, and we are used to them. So we can recommend if they are used to one kind of spice that they use normally, they can put it instead of
parsley is something which is close to cilantro or coriander. You can use parsley, but not dill.
Not dill. Okay, parsley. Okay, perfect.
Okay, so we put the roti on the pan and you just wait for 10-15 seconds. You notice it starts changing color and there are little bubbles which start showing. I don't know if you guys can see. Yeah, can you see the bubbles? So once you see the bubbles is when you flip it. Now the other side also you cook for about 10 seconds. Now is where the magic happens, okay? So now
we have one question, is how to make a round roti.
It will take some practice. I'll show you one how I do it. Otherwise, it will take you some practice, okay? So now the second side also you cook for 10 seconds. You flip it with any cloth. Just start pressing it gently and keep on moving. and it puffs up like that. Can you see it puffing up? So you turn and cook the other side as well. So that is why it is important to not have any folds or holes, because if you have any holes, then the air escapes and it won't puff up. It's still a roti, but not a good one. Okay? So once it's done, what we do is we take it out in a cloth and just wrap them up so they stay warm. So now whoever was asking how to make a round roti, I'll just show you how I do it. So first,
yes, they have. They're asking because it's not happening, so they need just a little bit of explanation to make it possible for them. So let us know.
I've been making roti for 15 years now, so that is why, of course, it's round, because it takes a lot of practice. What I would recommend for anyone who's trying it for the first time, even if you can't make a perfect round, it's completely okay. You can make an Australia map or a New Zealand map. But more important part, do not have a fold or a hole in it. That is more important. Okay. I've seen all kinds of rotis. I've seen Pokemon faces, heart shape, Sri Lanka, everything on the rotis by now. Okay. So what you do is take a little bit, make a ball out of it, flatten it, okay, dip it into the flour. So I usually keep the flour in a box like that. Okay. Now what I do is first gently roll it like this, like one side, and then pick it up, turn it, and do the other side. So then try and just keep on picking it up and rolling it a little bit. And if it starts to stick, then what you do is take it, dip it into the flour again, so it doesn't stick. And sometimes even mine are not perfectly round, so it's okay. But you know, the funny thing in India, I mean, now, of course, not now, but earlier days, a perfect round roti is how every daughter-in-law was judged by her mother-in-law after you get married. Because that's the first thing which is basic, you should know how to do properly. Okay, so I'll just show you one more time. So once you roll it out, make sure you dust off the excess flour. Now just directly put it on the pan. Cook for about 10 to 15 seconds till the time you see the bubbles. And if you notice, we don't put any salt while we make the roti because we always eat it with the curry or the lentil or the vegetable we've made. So once you see the bubbles like that, can you all see the bubbles? Now is when you flip it. Okay. Now again, the other side cook for 10 seconds and flip it again. And with any cloth, just start pressing it gently. And it pops up.
So we press against the bubbles that are forming?
Yes.
Okay.
So you just keep on moving little by little, that's about it. So you see that nice color you get. So that's a plain roti. Now once you take it off the pan, if you want a butter roti, put a little bit of ghee or butter. That's a butter roti. Okay. So I'm just gonna put it on this one. So that's my rotis ready. I'm just wrapping them up so they stay warm. So yeah, So now my rotis are ready, my curry is ready, and my raita is ready. Any questions? Otherwise, I'll start plating up. Okay. So the curry we've made. Show you. I'm going to put some coriander. That's the roti we made. And that is some of the raita. So that's how a traditional Indian meal is. We have not used more than 1 spoon of oil. We have used whole wheat flour, which is very healthy. We have used yogurt. Yogurt has good probiotics for your stomach. In the curry, again, we've not put any cream or too much of oil. We've not fried anything. So this is what a typical everyday Indian meal looks like. So even the way we eat our food, so if you notice, we did not put any oil, any salt in the bread, because you don't eat the bread and the curry separately. We eat them together. I'll just quickly show you how we eat in India. We always eat with our hands, especially the bread. So you break a small bite, okay? Make a scoop out of it like that. Now, what you do is just fill in a little bit of your curry, and that's it. Just put the whole thing in your mouth. And it tastes good. I can say that. I'm sure you guys can't taste from the screen, but yeah.
It's perfect and waits also for me to try to do it. Now we'll switch to Romanian to ask if they have any other question, maybe something that maybe they didn't finish yet, so they have any question. Vreau să știu dacă aveți întrebări, dacă este ceva neclar sau dacă încă n-ați terminat și vă putem ajuta cu detalii finale. Sunt binevenite întrebările voastre. So I'm waiting for some questions to come. In the meantime, we can make a small recount of what we did today. Just a little bit of explanation of how we went through all this special little part of India today. So that will be perfect for us.
Okay, so first we began with the introduction of spices. So we usually keep our spices in a spice box, where we have the basic spices, which is the 7 spices we have is turmeric, cumin seeds, coriander powder, garam masala, red chilli powder, whole red chilies, and dry mango powder. So these are the basic spices which we use in almost 70 to 80% of our cooking. The rest of the spices we have are used more in special dishes. Everyday cooking we use with primarily these spices. Okay. Then we talked about ghee. Ghee is clarified white butter, which is again very healthy. It's a superfood. We make it at home usually in India, or you can even buy it in the supermarkets. If you guys don't have ghee, you can use butter or any other oil instead. We started with making the curry paste. So curry paste always has equal amount of onion and tomato. We cooked for 2 people today, so that has 1 onion and 1 tomato. If your onion is too big, then probably you can take 2 tomatoes, medium tomatoes. It's just the quantity should be equal. That's the whole idea. So first we begin by adding whole spices into your oil, followed by onions, and you have to brown your onions. That's the most important step. Once you brown the onions, we put some ginger and garlic and chili as well in it. Then you put your tomatoes. Again, you have to make sure you cook down the tomatoes and brown your paste. So that is our curry paste which we make and usually buy in the market. Once you brown them, you put the powders, which is your turmeric, coriander, chili, cumin and salt. Then is the time you add your protein. So it can be a chicken or a fish or a lamb or vegetables, whatever you want, you put it then. So the curry paste, the base remains the same. It's just the protein changes. Once you add that, in the restaurants, they usually put cream. Now, in case you guys want to do a vegan version, what you can do is you can add vegetables and instead of yogurt or cream, you can actually put some coconut milk. So it can be a vegan version. Yeah.
I just received a question, so a suggestion. They would like some details from the spices that we use for this cooking, as you were explaining. So just to make sure, if we want to do it again, not to miss any kind of spice for the dish we prepared today.
Yeah. Okay. So we've used cumin seeds and cumin powder. So cumin gives a nutty flavor to our food. We've used turmeric. Turmeric gives a natural yellow color. Also, it is great anti-inflammatory. We put coriander powder. So coriander gives a nice herb kind of a flavor to it. Then we use chili powder. Of course, chili is for the heat. If you don't have red chili, you can use green chili. You can use both. I personally always prefer more of green chilies. Red is always aged green chili. So red always are more hotter. So if you're using red chilies, use them lesser than the green chilies. Okay. And we've used garam masala. So garam masala is actually a blend of different spices. It is to give that nice smoky flavor to our food. So that's about it. We've just used these spices. We've not used too many other spices. Okay. So once we added the protein, then we put yogurt and water, and then you cover your pans and you cook your curry. So if you take cooking chicken, it might take 15 to 20 minutes. If you're doing a vegetable curry, it might take 10 to 12 minutes, depending on how big or small your vegetables are. The idea is you have to poke them and check if they're cooked enough. You know, that's the idea. You know that when it's done. In the end, we usually use coriander in India, but if you want to use parsley, you can chop some parsley and add as well. Then we made some raita. So raita is something which we usually make it like a side dish along with our meal. So to balance out all the heat from the spices we have. So it's yogurt. You just mix whip the yogurt till it gets nice smooth. You can add any salad vegetables like crunchy vegetables like cucumber or tomato or onion. Add that. I put some salt and black salt and cumin powder in it. That's it. And if you have some fresh mint, it gives a really nice flavor to your raita. I've used some coriander today because I had some really fresh coriander. So that's our raita. And the last, which is the easiest, the roti, it's the easiest thing ever to do. Once you're going to know how to make it, once you make it, you'll never make anything else again. Okay. So it is whole wheat flour and water. You make a dough into like a Play-Doh consistency, roll it out, and then you cook it on the pan. First, you cook on one side, flip it. Then you second time when you flip, start pressing gently with a cloth. It puffs up. So that's about it. You can make roti from scratch in less than 10 minutes.
Perfect. So we just received some information from one of the attendees. They're saying that it is very, very interesting, all this session, and they want to thank everyone for being part of the wonderful webinar. So it's a big, big thank to Eturia team for making it possible, and gratitude to our chef Anchal for being such a wonderful host and cook. So I wanted to let you know what people are expressing in this webinar, and it is wonderful to take this short flight through internet to India and to your house and to your knowledge of how to cook in Indian style. So it is really, really good for us. And just to make clear for everybody, we are going to send them a little bit of information of the spices that you mentioned and what they are good for our body. And also, we are going to give them also the recipe if they want to just have a little look of what they did. So it will be written, will be easier for them. So for us, it is a pleasure to have you. And just let us know what else we can do as part of this dish, something really simple with what you can drink. So to drink with it, you use a juice, or what do you recommend just to have something to drink normally in your house?
Yeah, so usually a summer drink for us, like right now it's like getting really hot. With my meal, I would have a lassi. So lassi is a yogurt based drink, so it's really healthy because one, yogurt has good probiotics. And also the lassi, you can actually make it a sweet lassi or a salted lassi. So it's really simple. Just take yogurt. So suppose you want to make 1 glass of lassi, take about 1/2 cup of yogurt, 1/2 cup of water, put it in a blender or a shaker and then shake it up. And if you want to make it salted, add some salt. If you want to have it sweet, add some sugar, and that's it. So usually I would have it with some lassi along with my meal. Sometimes, you know, in the restaurants, a lot of people have been selling and having mango lassi and strawberry and banana. So they're really super thick. It's not very traditional. Like, I've never had mango lassi in my life.
So sorry, Anchal, we have another question just coming up. There is something that looks like I've added more chicken than curry. Any idea how to repair it? Someone just...
I would say probably add some more spices then, because if you have more chicken, then of course you won't taste the spices. So I would recommend add more spices.
Okay, so tomato to put a little bit more, so vegetables to be good, or some more spices. Okay.
Ideally, you should make some more curry paste and add, but I'm sure they don't want to do the whole thing again. So what you can do is add some more spices and yogurt. So that can make some more of the sauce. Yeah.
Okay, some of the sauce to have more quantity of the sauce than the chicken, not to start over again. Okay, that is perfect.
So Indian cooking is more about, you know, balancing things, you know. I mean, if you have the same recipe cooked by me or by my mom or by my grandmom or my mother-in-law, it will taste different because we all have a different way of adding our spices. And, you know, I personally like, even for Garam Masala, for example, Garam Masala is actually a blend of different spices. I'm not a big cinnamon fan, so I always put less cinnamon in mine. My mom puts extra black pepper in hers. So we all have a different way of doing it.
Okay, perfect. So, Anchal, we would like also for the one who have cooked with us, I think it will be great for you to see how it was they come out of our trying to cook with you. So we are going to ask everybody if they have cooked with us or they make it later to have a picture and send it to you and you to see how we have cooked. Dacă ați gătit cu noi, ar fi minunat să avem și pozele cu preparatele făcute acasă, să le trimitem și lui Anchal să vadă ce am făcut noi personal. Este o întrebare dacă este înregistrat acest webinar. Da, este înregistrat și la adresele de mail transmise o să vă trimitem înregistrarea să puteți urmări ulterior. So thank you very much. So whenever we are going to try to cook a little bit of India, we have now this webinar and these recipes. So we want to thank you very much, and we can wait to travel again physically. And now when we go to India, we know what to ask for, and also we will know how to cook it. So that is wonderful. So I'm just seeing some questions.
For sure, we would like to come and visit you, Anchal.
Yes, also.
Workshop at your home, and I'm sure our clients would like to come and visit too. When it will, we can start again to travel. It will be a pleasure to come and visit you in person.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anchal. We are. This is the end of the webinar. So we are really glad that we had the opportunity to have you and to have all the people that were with us today and cooking and just asking us things. So as I mentioned, we're glad to be in India soon, and if we are able to visit it, we will do that too and cook together with you. If that will be perfect. Yes. So thank you
very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Vă mulțumim pentru prezență și ne vedem la următoarele webinare. Thank you, Anchal. Goodbye.
Bye. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. Mulțumim tuturor. Sperăm că ați gătit excelent astăzi. O zi frumoasă și poftă bună.
Mulțumim.